Good evening and welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky, middle aged men share insight on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts now. Again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Jason Show. That's not right. That's not right. Dad bods, crab cakes, and sports. Wrong thing came up on the screen, Mike. I had this prompt here that tells me what to read, but my 11-year-old's in charge of it, so I don't really know what is. I don't know. Peppa Pig. I don't know. It could be anything. It could just be anything. But Mike, how's your evening been going? How's the week been going? Tell me all about it.
Good evening, Jason. Everything's wonderful, man. So tonight I played softball for the first time since like July of last year. So that was exciting. Got the W, played a little shortstop. Went 3 for 3, went good. But got to shout out my buddy and your buddy Jason, Scuba Steve Sweeney, who took one out over the garden in left center for a real home run. That was nice to see tonight. I did go to my first O's game of the year yesterday, which was super exciting. Unfortunately, it did not end the way we wanted it to. But I would say overall, experience-wise, we have never sat in the splash zone before. So I took the kids to the splash zone. I thought the ticket was really reasonably priced. It was $30 for the ticket. After fees, it was maybe a little bit higher, closer to 40. But we sat in the second row. Mr. Splash, we had personal conversations with Mr. Splash, took a picture with my son. He soaked us even when we weren't scoring any runs or getting any hits in the first 6 or 7 innings, which was awesome. My kids were loving it, just enjoying every bit of it. We finally found the Birdland Value menu site out in Section 87. Hot dogs. Nachos were a little over-advertised. It's really like a bag of Tostitos with a little Tostito dipping sauce, some pretzel bites. I like the refillable soda. That was excellent. We took that and we used that for ice and went back and forth a few times. That was really good. And obviously the 3 home runs in a row, we're excited. The kids were all wound up. And then, of course, the defense let us down a little bit, and we did not pull it out in the end. Extra innings was a little rough for the kids, and I didn't make them wake up early this morning. And the traffic on 95 North wasn't wonderful coming home. But the game, the experience, I thought it was excellent for the kids. I would highly recommend the Splash Zone.
Wait, people are still going to the games? Like, it's that like the roads still get crowded and stuff like that, and traffic?
Well, I think there was an accident. I also think that they do the road work on the tunnel, and then I just think there's a lot of thought put into that sometimes.
Well, let me tell you about your $30 tickets. So, $30 tickets to go to real baseball games. Where down here to go to Sarasota to watch them play, it's like 45 or more dollars to go to spring training games per ticket.
Wow.
So, yeah. So definitely eat up that $30 one. Goodness gracious. And John, how what have you been up to? Anything exciting? Anything new in your life?
Nothing out of the ordinary, just selling cars or trying to sell cars and making phone calls to people who aren't exactly thrilled to hear from me. So, it's all in a day's work. And my customer from Kentucky who flew in brought a check bag so he could bring me some bourbon, and he forgot the bourbon. So he's supposed to mail it to me, but we'll see if he actually does or not. See, I guess it probably matters how much he actually likes his vehicle he purchased. So we'll see. That was very disappointing on Monday when he told me that. So, yeah, nothing else exciting.
You have a job. You can buy your own bourbon. You don't have.
Yeah, I could, but it's nicer when it's free.
Is it free though, John? Is it free?
Yeah, it is free. It cost him about $75,000.
Cost
him about $75,000.
Remember the Bulldog guy?
Oh yeah, I do. Yep. He wanted us to make his Mike and I a long time ago worked at a hamburger / pit beef, all kinds of stand, hot dogs and different things. This guy wanted us to make him like a pit beef sandwich with ham and a hot dog and a sausage in it and put it all on a roll, and we did. And then I'm like, Mike, do we just Like, do we add up what the cost of every single one of them costs and then charge them? It'd be like $34. I'm like,
So
I don't
what'd
know
you
what to do. But no, by the way, Bulldog sandwich is fabulous. It really is. It's like ham, pit beef, pit turkey, and a sausage. It's delicious. I mean, who wouldn't want more like grilled meats in their life? It's what half my life is based off of. I'll tell you.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me tell you a story about this. Trying to put all these things together and how do you charge for it? I went to high school with conjoined twins in Minnesota. How do you charge tuition for conjoined twins? You're worried about a sandwich with a little bit of extra meat on it. How do you charge tuition to conjoined twins?
Well, how many brains are involved? 2?
Well, there's two brains, one body. So they take up one chair. One chair, but they have 2 degrees, and how do you do that?
I think you charge them 2.
2.
It's clearly 2 different people. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Meredith and Meredith's right side and Meredith's left side. It's Meredith and Alex. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that was my dad. That was my dad's.
John.
That was my
Always try to
big
cut
problem.
corners.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know what
Now,
they did, but I figured it out.
I do feel as though there should be some sort of discount involved. I don't think they should get obviously one person's tuition, but maybe a discount. And I feel like that conversation would be like, well then, sure. Love to have you, both of you, 1.5 of you, whatever you want to call it. Goodness gracious. What school did you go to?
That was
the weirdest freaking stories I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Well, you guys know my dad. He always finds weird things to him and Uncle Al. They find weird things to talk about, weird things to do. And but no, these girls we go to the school and they're like, just so you know, there's these conjoined twins, just so you're not staring and stuff. But they've been on TLC, they've been on the Oprah Winfrey show. And now they're married. One of them is married to this guy. They're world renowned. These girls are world famous.
And they're still conjoined?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So one of them is not married. They're both married.
No, one of them is married.
No, not. They're both married. And they both, I mean, what kind of bed do you have to have? You have to, a California king isn't even going to do it because it's still the same width of a king. You need I don't know, you need a truck pallet type situation. I don't know.
Yeah. And what I don't know is, and they each have their own driver's license and stuff. They played high school sports, but then how do you count them on a team, on a field? Do they count as one player or 2 players?
How many gloves?
1.
One player.
They played volleyball. They played soccer. They did.
Yeah, but how many legs?
2.
4.
No, 2. 2 legs. They have 2. You look them up. Their names are Abby and Brittany Hensel. So you look them up sometime. But they have 2 arms. Legs. They have 2 arms and 2 legs. Right, because they're one from the waist down, but they have 2 stomachs, 2 hearts, 2 lungs, and then the 2 heads, but then only 2 arms.
So what happens when one of them passes before the other?
I don't know. That's an interesting.
Because you said 2 hearts. Okay, yes. So
2 hearts born to run. Who will be the lonely one? It's a Journey song.
That would be bad though. Okay, now I'm involved in this. I got to keep going. Okay. This isn't a situation that they could never separate them, obviously, because there's only one leg. If one passes away and they have to separate them, the other one is confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her life.
Yeah, well, and the problem is they have one reproductive system, one urinary tract and things. So if one dies, I'm assuming the other one will just die. I don't know. I have no idea.
One urinary. Oh Christ.
Yeah. It's a medical miracle that they're I mean, they're a year younger than me. So they're 30, they're probably 34, 35, something like that. But it's a medical miracle, these girls. Yeah. But if you look them up, Abby and Brittany Hensel, they had a TV show on TLC. They had, all this stuff. They're world renowned.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're really
Jason, your mind looks blown right now.
Oh, dude,
I'm worried that we're not going to be able to talk about sports anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, It's Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, and more. Remember the
And
and more
twins.
thing.
And more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And conjoined freaking humans. Like, this is insane. Like, that's not a
I don't
real
even know how we got on this track, but we got to probably hop off.
All right, John, you know what you have to do. You're going to have to get them to come on the show. Gosh darn it. All right,
Probably.
you're well, no, not probably. Go ahead, get that set up and report back to the
The ball's in
group.
all of your courts.
Right. Did this. I really need to know more. Like, this is I'm not
Look
yeah,
them
that's
up.
it.
I'll
That's all
send
we
you.
do.
I'll send you the names.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so it looks like our picks this week, you guys have a lot of work to do here to get to 4-2 for the Orioles here. As so far they're 1-2 in the series, though they dropped the series 1-2 to the Rangers. And not only that, like after the first game, like what is all this nonsense? And I guess it started in New York with this no hitting nonsense, like going deep into games with no hits. Like, I mean, Mike, is this some sort of approach early on in games, or is this just these other pitchers like DeGrom? Obviously tonight, I mean, that's a Hall of Famer, but last night was not a Hall of Famer as of yet. I don't want to take it away from him, but guy I've never even heard of. So you tell me, like, I mean, is it their approach early on in games? Is it just they forgot to start playing?
Well, I got to see them finally live on Tuesday night, and they have trouble with lefties. They really do, and they loaded the lineup with righties. And the Rangers threw a lefty, and obviously we're down Adley, who's a switch hitter, and Westberg, who's one of your better right-handed hitters. And as far as our catching position is concerned, it was really ugly defensively over the last couple games. Blocking balls, tag plays. Like I think there have been 4 or 5 tag plays in the last couple of weeks that have just been botched completely. I mean, the one where Maverick got spun around or got concussed, and then there was a couple the other night. Gunner threw off the bag. So you got that going on. As far as hitting is concerned, 3 long balls in the game I went to and 1 other base hit. So 4 total hits in that game. A couple bases on balls. I think, Jackson Holiday looks pretty good. He looks like a major league hitter. It was fun to watch him. Good at bats, every time he's up to bat. Has a good batter's eye. Had a walk. We have some major league hitters, but right now the injury bug, some of the guys in the lineup, you're trotting Chadwick Tromp out there with Gary Sanchez in your lineup. It's like, what is going on? This is not a going to win you many games lineup right now. And Ramon Laureano and those guys were playing above their head, I think, a little bit. So you're kind of just seeing what the real results are with half your team on the IL.
I will say yesterday, they, at least in like the first 4 innings or so, some of the balls that were being hit were like piss rockets. I mean, there were some of the exit velocities. I'm sure you didn't see them because I don't know if they put them up in the ballparks or not, but some of them,
you could tell they were hit hard though.
I mean, well over 100 for like 4 or 5, 6 guys in a row. And I'm like, oh, and whenever you have numbers like that and stuff like that, it's only a matter of time, hopefully, unless you're just always hitting them right at people, which you can't help. But for me, that was at least a good sign. And then they started exploding, and it just took them to get to the bullpen to do it. And then, I mean, it's great that you hit these home runs, you do these different things. But last night's game to me went down based on fundamentals. And, you never really realize how much you miss something until it's gone. And Adley not being there, I haven't seen so many pass balls in like a 2 series situation since he's been gone. I mean, if I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 8 between wild pitches and pass balls.
And Jason, real quick too, with the tag plays, like I was always taught as a catcher, and I might be wrong, that you want to put 2 hands on the ball when you can in any situation like that, because they're going to try to separate you from the ball. So, and I understand the sweep nature of certain plays, and you've got to get the tag on there quickly. But the way that they are playing it now, where you have to give them a path to home plate, it's almost like your whole body has got to come into the plate at the same time. So just take 2 hands and do it that way. But like to me, 2 or 3 times they've been separated from the ball with a decent throw. Obviously, the Maverick Hanley throw was a little rough up the line, but and then you got them, like you said, Jason. It was a lazy backhand attempt to pick a ball by Gary Sanchez on one of the pass balls. One he tried to at least get his chest in front of, but it bounced 10 feet to the right up the first baseline, and they still advanced on the play. So I see what you're saying about not having Adley, and you don't know what you got until it's gone, because he is much better than them, especially in those areas.
See, that's why to me it's so annoying, and I write it off. I don't even pay any attention to it anymore. And I'm more along the line blame the pitchers. Like, I don't care that much about the throwing arms if you're not giving runs away and giving spots like advanced bases up. Like, yeah, you're right, Mike, that like Sanchez got his like John, you played catcher. Mike, we all came into high school. Mike and I both came into high school as catchers and then got put into different positions. Like the way his chest was now, and I granted this is a lot faster than you and I, all of us have caught, but like the way that, they're taught to have their chest pointed in a certain way to have the ball go straight down. And I just don't know. Again, he really hasn't played much this year. This is all newer. So I'm willing to give passes for a little bit of stuff here. The one thing I'll say about the throw, like specifically the throw from right field from Laureano, it's the throw was on the complete other side of the plate, and it kind of took him back. So when he came back to sweep, it's like I think he realized, shit, I'm gonna have to do this quick. And when he did it, it just popped. And then in New York, no excuse, ball popped right out of his glove. Gunnar last night, bad throw to the plate. Jackson Holiday, awesome play, good play to the plate. He was too slow to it. Like he was way too slow to it. Like that's what I got from him. When Sanchez caught the ball, that glove needs to go on the ground. And it was like slow motion. And I don't know if it was because it was 400 degrees last night and these guys are exhausted or what the case may be. But John, I know I'm throwing a whole lot out here before you got to speak here, but like I think they need Mike and John. I think they need to get a third catcher up here because this isn't going to work. If Sanchez is DHing and playing all the time, they need to have a third catcher. I don't know. I don't care who it is. It's not going to be Basayo. We don't need to get into all that. It's just not. So they need a third guy up here.
Well, they should have. They should have grabbed James McCann again when they potentially could have before the Diamondbacks signed him, because just as I watch Gary Sanchez, he's got a bat, but that the way that I was taught to catch and the way that I'm sure you guys were taught to catch, and I know I played through high school and college, but I was taught you never put your leg on the ground because you cannot block anything with the leg on the ground. But then as I worked for the Yankees, as I worked for Cal Ripken, as I dealt with some of these other people, now they're like, it's more important to be able to frame pitches and have a steady hand than it is to be able to get down and block the pitches. So with his leg out, he has no mobility. It's like if you were playing hockey and your hockey goalie is on his legs, like, he's not going to stop half the pucks shot at him because of that. And as the catcher, that's your job, is to stop everything that comes by you. Now, are there pitches that there's no way in hell you can stop? Abso-freaking-lutely there are. But those were not pitches, if you're in a normal athletic catching stance, that I don't think you block. And the thing with Sanchez, they mentioned this on the broadcast too, is he was straight up and down. So what you want to do, and the way they teach it now, is your head is over your knees so that you're catching the ball more or less with your stomach. And your chest, you're catching the ball so that it falls right to your knees and right in front of you instead of bouncing off your chest and going away from you. And it just seemed like Sanchez's fundamentals behind the plate just are not there. But he's had a hot bat, so you got to get him in the lineup in some way, shape, or form. But just behind the plate, he's a nightmare.
Yeah, and just on your point, Jason, did you see that they did sign Jacob Stallings to a minor league contract, who was a journeyman, I guess, with Pittsburgh and Miami and Colorado more recently. So I think they're thinking along the same lines you are as far as catching depth is concerned.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. That's good, though. Did they activate him to the major league roster right away?
I didn't see that yet, but I did see that it came out earlier today.
I mean, and again, this is much easier said than done because there's still a lot of moving parts here. Because like Westberg, I'm sorry, did he play tonight? I missed part of the game
He
earlier.
was in the lineup I saw earlier, but I didn't get to see the game because I was playing softball.
Right. So him being back up, that's good. And so that solves that problem. Adley, I mean, they're saying isn't coming back till after the All-Star break. But then what position do you pull from if that's going to be the case? Maybe it's Dylan Carlson, something along those lines. But I know they like to have that switch hitting bat up there plus the defense. Mike, you had say part of this segment that you wanted to bless us all with, I believe.
Oh, yes, you need to be blessed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to roll really quick down the current roster, and I just want to get you guys to tell me whether you think this player is part of the future of the Orioles for when we contend or not. It's that simple. I just want a yes or no from each of you guys. I'm just curious. That make sense?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Keegan Aiken.
John?
Yes.
Yes.
Brian Baker.
No.
Yes.
Felix Bautista.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Scott Blewett.
With a last name like Blewett? Hell no.
He's just so cheap. I mean, let me stop this real quick. Hold on. So I think we'll be ready to compete next year. So I'm only thinking a year out. Is your goal here, Mike, to have us think more than just 1 year out?
It doesn't matter
Okay.
whatever you think compete is going to be.
Okay. No on Blewett.
Bradish.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer to me too. Ynier Cano, who's down right now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you guys think he figures it out?
Yes, absolutely.
Sir Anthony.
Yes.
No, I think he'll get traded.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
And actually, I'm kind of on the fence too, Mike, about Aiken and Baker, because I think it all kind of depends on where we go here. Bullpens are like anything here. Like, I'm not too concerned about the bullpen. I like what Baker's figured out, but he's kind of gotten exposed here a little bit lately. And then with Aiken, I mean, over the last year and a half, he might be their first or second best reliever. So if someone comes knocking, they both could get dealt.
Yeah, those are good points, Jason. I think I'm just going to stick with the pitchers tonight. We'll talk more position players next time. Zach Eflin.
Yes.
Yes, unfortunately.
So neither of you think he's going to get dealt?
I don't think they can. I mean, what else are they going to do? We don't have enough starters and everybody else on the injured list. So you're kind of stuck with, I mean, that's why we still have Morton. I think any team in their right mind with a starter at the AAA level would have dealt Morton or just got rid of him by now. He's been nothing but a nightmare.
All right. Kittredge.
No.
Dean Kramer.
Yes.
Yes.
Chase McDermott.
Yes.
Yes.
Charlie Morton.
No.
No.
Good call. Cody Poteet.
Yes.
Yes.
Cade Povich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's young. Grayson Rodriguez.
No.
Yes.
Why do you say no, John? Just curious.
I just don't see him staying healthy. I think he's just going to continue to catch his injury bug, and they're going to send him down to AAA, or somebody's going to think they can fix him or something. I just don't think. I mean, he's been hurt all the time. I don't think the Orioles can afford to keep him where he is when they have too many needs.
When his health is there, he's not broken. His game isn't broken. He's physically broken.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's a top of the rotation type guy. When you're talking about an organization that apparently doesn't want to spend money on pitching, which again, we already know how I feel about that. I'm not too far off from that. they're not going to let guys like him or McDermott or even Eflin. uh, Here's something that I'm going to throw in real quick. The worse Eflin does, but still respectable, the better for the Orioles, because I do think they want to extend him. And by getting a decent contract done with him, but when I say respectful, like not, oh crap, he's done, he's burnt, right? It's okay, look, we could fix this, blah, blah, blah. They could get a nice 2 or 3 year deal done with him. He could be your 3 or 4, hopefully. That's my goal.
So you want him to do poorly enough where he doesn't make a ton of money and where we aren't going to trade him.
Oh, I don't want him to. I want him to win the Cy Young Award. But what I'm saying is
Yes.
if he's like lingering like he is right now, I mean, he'll be signable.
Trevor Rogers.
Yes.
Yes.
You know
Colin
how hard it is
Selby.
not to text you and Jim about him? Every time you have a good performance. Did you say Selby?
Sorry, Colin Selby.
Yes.
Yes.
He's in the minors right now. Okay. Gregory Soto.
No.
No.
I think he'll get
I
dealt.
think they're going to deal him.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I'm skipping a few guys. Albert Suarez.
Yes.
Big Al.
Yeah.
Tomoyuki Sagano.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Tyler Wells
Yes.
Yes.
and Brandon Young.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Just curious. So it seems like there were more yeses than nos if I was keeping track correctly. So,
Well, I mean, you're kind of
considering-
stuck. Major leagues, you're kind of stuck with guys. You can't just like overhaul your entire, 12-man pitching staff. You can't just dump them all and then figure if you can pick 12 guys up. You have to keep guys who you really don't want just because what else are you going to do?
And like you said, like I was saying, like your bullpen's tough because it's so liquid. It can move in so many different directions here. Like, I mean, from year to year, you could have the best bullpen in baseball one year, and the next it could be the bottom half. Like, it's so fickle. And a lot of those guys were bullpen guys. And if you can get any value at all from them, you're going to take it. Like, look what they got for Jorge Lopez. Like, holy crap. If you could get that every time, wouldn't you trade these guys every time? I would. But it also comes down to controllability. Like McDermott and Povich and Rogers and all these guys that have control, they're not going anywhere. Now, will they play an important role? I don't know. But they're not leaving the organization with controllable contracts.
what you're saying is you wouldn't package them in any deals for anybody like that because they're pitching, and we've talked about what pitching means to our organization and how we're not going to go sign a mega deal for anybody. So you got to keep that pitching at home. So what I'm asking you guys then, who are the most likely pitchers to be traded? Then I'm saying Soto is what I'm hearing from you guys. Maybe Sir Anthony potentially. So some of those guys we got last year, you think we could flip around this year?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. If they were contending, I would hold on to both those guys. But I think they'll trade them. I think they'll look to trade Aiken. I think they'll look to trade Baker. If they're looking to trade Baker, they should do it now. But guys like that, I mean, that's why they didn't. That's why Baker made the team, because they know that if they would have DFA'd him, he'd have gotten scooped up. I mean, you throw 98, 99 miles per hour, they can figure out the rest for you most of the time. So, but no, I do. I think there's 4 or 5 pitchers that could get dealt. I mean, I wouldn't trade Batista, but I would package a lot of those guys. I mean, you're asking me if I would do it. If I would do it, absolutely. But will they do it? No, they're not. They think differently than me. And maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. Talking to you guys on a freaking Wednesday night, 10 o'clock at night.
See, I agree with you for the most part, but I do think that Zach Eflin, there's a chance that he goes. Like, I really think because of, especially if they tailspin, if they go and lose, 5 out of the next 6 or something like that, I think they're going to try to get some value there because he has shown over a long track record that he is a solid, at least 3 or better starter. And you know how many teams are looking for that at the trade deadline. Think about if the Orioles were in it right now, they'd be looking for that same thing probably at the trade deadline. So knowing the value in that, and you've talked about it, Jason, in the past, at how much players actually cost at the trade deadline versus how much they cost in the offseason, the price tag on him is going to be much higher than if he were to be, obviously he's not signed next year, but if he were to be available in the offseason.
Right, but he's trending down big time. These last few starts, if he doesn't start going back upwards, I mean, that what you're talking about you could get for guys like him, it's not going to happen. So then they have decisions to be made. I believe he's a free agent next year, so they could do the same thing I've been calling for with O'Hearn and the rest of these guys, the handshake deal. Be like, hey, pick your phone up in freaking November. We'll call you. So,
well, look at a guy like Keegan Aiken. What did I see yesterday? He's stranded 24 of 25 inherited runners. Was that Aiken? I think it was Aiken. He stranded 24 of 25 inherited runners. Yesterday, he stranded guys that I don't know if the bases loaded or the guy on second and third. But I'm telling you what, bases loaded, yeah, and he stranded them all. So I'm thinking he's going to be a heck of a trade chip come the deadline for a team that needs a solid middle reliever.
I mean, there's a couple ways of doing this. You could do kind of what the Tigers did last year. They started trading away guys they knew wouldn't be a part of their future, and they still made a run at it and made the playoffs. Or you just do what the Yankees did a few years back, and you trade Andrew Miller, you trade Chapman, guys like that, and then the next year you're right back in the playoffs again, and you have Chapman back on your team. So there's different ways to navigate this, and it really comes now. It's a whole different conversation, but it comes down, and I can't get this out of my head because I've thought about this too. Ken Rosenthal said he's hearing from other major league executives that Mike Elias cannot put together an actual Major League Baseball team and be able to put all those pieces together, whatever that means. And that really makes me nervous. Really makes me nervous because, yeah, you can build up your minor leagues, but if you can't make the necessary moves, like his deadline moves, Mike, I mean, Jack Flaherty and Zach Eflin. Okay, I'm very happy for Zach Eflin. But, dude, like, what the hell here? I mean, you have to be able to set up your team and the majors to be able to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, you can't disagree with what the trade deadline looked like. I know we talked about Trevor Rogers. He's been Jekyll and Hyde the last 3 starts, but you can see the upside that he saw when making the trade, but that wasn't the guy they were getting last year at the trade deadline. They were getting a worn-out guy who really wasn't pitching at the top of their game. So I don't know what he was doing last year at the trade deadline. I thought they were in what a great position to be in to go get a real, top of the rotation Scooble type guy and just go for it. But apparently that's not the how the operating procedures are going to be in Camden Yards at the warehouse. So I'm not certain what the plan is. I think the one thing about the bullpen guys, trading those guys, you can find bullpen guys. Like some of these starters that don't pan out can become bullpen guys, and that happens a lot in these organizations. So and like Jorge Lopez, you have a great example there, right? So you could replace a Soto, you could replace a Sir Anthony with not too much struggle. Starting pitching wise, Eflin's going to be a lot harder pitcher to replace than those other guys. So I don't see any harm at all in shopping those guys. Like I worry about what we're going to get back for them based on Elias' trade record. I guess that's my biggest concern.
So the Trevor Rogers thing to me, and this is why I keep defending this deal. Neither one of I'm pretty sure they did not think Stowers was going to outplay the guys they have on the roster. And Norby's path to the majors, look at it now. Like if Westberg's healthy and Holly's healthy, where's Connor Norby going to play? And he was the more higher ranked prospect than Stowers. And Stowers has started to slow down a little bit. But I think what happened was Mike Elias said, I'm not giving up all these pieces to get what like the top of the line pitchers. And if you go back and look, they got the best starting pitcher in the at the deadline last year was Zach Eflin. No other team was able to get a guy. I mean, Houston got Kikuchi. Eflin was better last year. So I think what he said was, okay, the Trevor Rogers, we're not going to use these guys. That's who they're asking for. That's fine. They're not in our plans this year or next year. Trevor Rogers might be a wash this year. If we get anything from him, great. If we don't, we'll work with him during the offseason. And this is Trevor Rogers almost won the Rookie of the Year his first year. He won 14 games with a pretty low ERA. He's got the stuff. You saw it the other night. And you saw it wasn't just him in Tampa. All of our pitchers struggled in Tampa. It's freaking hot. I mean, it's not normal hot. It's stupid hot. And I'm telling you. So I'm not ready to write off Trevor Rogers at all. I'm okay with the trade. If they would have given up Joey Ortiz or somebody like that, it would have angered me more. But I really do think Mike Elias is cocky enough to think he had enough pitching last year to win. And that is what I'm telling you. It makes me very, very nervous, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think Elias, like we always talk about, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room and he's not going to listen to anybody else. And I think, getting rid of Hyde, I think part of that is, okay, Elias, I think you're on your last legs too, because you've been given, all these years, you've brought the talent to the big leagues, and now you're supposed to supplement what you drafted, what you developed with actual big leaguers, not injured big leaguers or big leaguers who nobody knows about. You're supposed to supplement it with the Verlanders, with the Scherzers, with these veterans to go with these youngsters. You got to bring in a Mike Trout. You got to bring in guys like that to get this team cohesive so that they can go to the playoffs, that we can win playoffs, that we can win a World Series. And I don't think Elias is built to do that or listen to anybody else except Mike Elias.
Well, he better figure it out quickly because, I mean, I don't think don't get me wrong, and Mike, I don't think he's in danger of losing his job, but I do think he'll be under a microscope. And the fact that it sounds like somebody, again, that I have a lot of respect for as a baseball writer, is hearing from other executives that they don't take him seriously. And that's a bigger problem. Because how do you deal with a guy in trade talks and stuff that you think you can take advantage of all the time?
Yeah, I have mixed emotions about Elias because I think he does a really good job with the young players and developing young players. And I think he has a systematic way of doing things that makes a lot of sense when it comes to young players. The problem lies in, like you said, building a team to win now. And I think he gets so caught up in that methodology that he uses with the younger players, and he doesn't know how to incorporate veteran players onto the team. Like the Tyler O'Neill signing is a little baffling to me. I don't know. I know they were just trying to get a righty in the lineup, but we need someone who's more consistent, who's done it more consistently. We need someone who is a leader in the clubhouse. It's just a personality thing. I don't see any connection to the team personality with Elias. He doesn't see where the character is lacking in the team. We need someone to depend on. We need a rock in the lineup. We need someone who's going to be a vocal leader with these guys and kind of take them under their wing. It's not always about the finances, and it's not always about player development. Sometimes it's just about putting together a ball club that knows how to win. And so for me, the absence there from Mike Elias is the ability to judge what the team needs, currently, based on not only stats, because I feel like stats is the thing that they all go by, the analytics, right? But it's also a piece that's not stat related. It's just not. And he does not have a great feel for that. I have 100% certainty saying that. He has no feel for that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, man. It really is because, again, the more I think about it, they're so close. They just needed a little bit more of a push. I'm not no one's ever going to convince me of it. I'm not in the ballpark of trading Westberg and Basayo and all these guys for Tarek Skubal last year. I would never do it. So, and either would anybody else, by the way, or the Tigers themselves, because they have a stud. But I've seen numbers on when they're going to go to sign that guy. Side note, he's going to be $400 million. Like he might be that high price guy, 500 million when it comes time. And I have no desire to give that to a pitcher.
No, and the Mike Elias, I think he's so fiscally responsible. You know what I mean by that? Like he cares so much about value and what value means and whether or not they're getting value from a trade, and it's all value oriented. He has trouble taking risk. He has trouble taking risk, and risk is trading your prospects. Risk is signing a guy who's older. There's risk in those things, and it doesn't seem like he's willing to take on some of those risks. He likes to get the most out of value.
I got a question for you guys, just hypothetical, just kind of a looking back. Do you think the Orioles would be in a different situation if instead of having an Adley or a Jackson Holiday available first overall, you had a Paul Skeens or a Steven Strasburg available, a high-quality starting pitcher who was Major League ready in the first pick of the draft? Mike, what do you think?
You're just asking if they had taken a stud pitcher versus like a gunner,
right?
Or
if there would have been like
who
a
is
Steven,
position player.
right? So if like instead of Adley had been available, let's say Skeens was available, or Steven Strasburg style starter, what do you think that would change how the trajectory of the team is going?
I think if you add an ace to any team, it makes a huge difference. And obviously, a guy under player team control for that long would be amazing. The problem is our philosophy, it seems like in the organization, is to draft shortstops. Like, I don't know. It seems like what we do when it comes to the first round, because again, risk averse. We're worried about risk. And with a starting pitcher comes the possibility of losing a season or two for UCL surgery. And then that derails your future plan potentially. And there's a risk there. So we're not taking the risk. We're going to take the safe route. A shortstop's more likely to defensively find a position somewhere on the field, and they're going to be the safest type of pick in the first round.
I think where that comes in, if you're an organization that has a lot of pieces already, it makes sense. But like, look at Pittsburgh. They took Skeens. They have nothing around him to help him. Look at the time, Washington wasn't ready to win yet. And they took Strasburg. They went out and they signed Jason Worth. They went out and they made a couple of the real big moves to put pieces around them. If you're going to take that pitcher, you better put other damn pieces around him. Otherwise, take the athletes that play 5 days a week, 6 days a week. I would always take the player that's going to be on the field more, unless you already have all of that where you can afford to take something else. And you know what? That might be this year. If they somehow don't do very well this year, they drop down to the top 3 or 4 in the draft or 5 in the draft, and they're picking from the top again, maybe they do take a pitcher that's almost ready. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that guy's there. But because they do have their infield set, and they could have a guy that could come up and help in a year and a half. So I don't know. It all depends on where you are as an organization, when you think you can compete, and what other pieces you have. But I throw this around all the time. The Bobby Witt year, the Bobby Witt, Adley Rutschman. The way that I think about it is, if they would have taken Bobby Witt instead of Adley Rutschman, they probably wouldn't have drafted Gunnar Henderson where they did. Or maybe they would have. Now, Westberg and Henderson weren't in the same draft, right? Weren't they in two separate, the back-to-back, right? Different drafts? Okay. So you are, with that being said, I think you end up with Witt, but you don't take Henderson. So by taking Adley, you end up with Adley and Henderson. To me, that's not a bad deal. So I'm never going to fault them really for that, even as exciting as Bobby Witt is as a player. So, but John, as far as like my long-winded response to you, I do not take that. Not at this point where they are right now. I mean, maybe, but not Paul Skeens over like Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman, or Paul Skeens over Colton Cowser and Heston Kjerstad for sure. But depending on the player. So, again, that's 35, 40 minutes of Orioles. We could do this all night long, but we do need to move on. We do have Mike. What is our? Do you want to tell these people where they can find us and what they should do and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. Please look for us on wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Red Circle. We're everywhere you want to be. We're like Visa cards, basically. But basically, we're on Facebook, Facebook Live. When we do our podcast on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, come visit us there. You can find us on Twitter. So just come and then like and follow us. That gives us all the things we need, all the juice we need to get going. So give us a like and a follow.
Perfect. And John, you have a fun segment for us that was created by Mike a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we're gonna do the ball. What did we call this, Mike? The ballpark 10?
No, that's not what he called it. That's
No,
not
what
what
do
he
you
said at
call it?
all.
It's ballpark figures.
Ballpark figures. Ballpark figures. So what I found as I did some research was an interesting thing called the approximate value of the NFL players. So it's sort of like a wins above replacement in the major leagues. So it basically is taking like the value of a player to a team and then putting in a quantitative number on it. So you see a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of left tackles, a few middle linebackers and things like this, but mainly guys who are big contributors to your team. So I have for you gentlemen to try to guess before you get three strikes the top 10 Baltimore Ravens in approximate value.
Oh,
So
my.
of all time Ravens, thankfully you only have almost 30 years, but of Ravens of approximated value.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a toughie.
Well, I'm going to say Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is number one, average of 224.
And this is does the length of their career obviously impact
Yeah.
this?
A little bit, not necessarily a ton. I mean, there's guys on here that weren't Ravens for all that long. I mean, like in the whole grand scale. I guess in NFL years it was a long time.
Jason,
Well-
what do you think of Jamal Lewis?
Yeah, let's do that.
No, Jamal Lewis is number 18.
John Ogden.
John Ogden is number 4.
So I got a question. What
Yeah,
if they
T-sizzle.
played for the Orioles, for the Ravens, but they were like a Hall of Famer with a different team?
No, the length of time with the Ravens. So yes, Rod Woodson is not on this list.
So I was thinking Deion Sanders, Rob Woodson.
No, it's not on the list. No,
Okay.
he was not on the
Mike-
How about
Ravens long enough.
Suggs? Give me Suggs.
Suggs is number 2.
Mike, Ed Reed. Yeah,
Yep.
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed is number 3. So
Would
you
you
got
think-
the top 4: Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, Jonathan Ogden.
Would you say Lamar already, Mike, or no?
Oh gosh, he's so good. I mean, I would like to.
Okay, we're gonna go Lamar.
Lamar is number 6.
Well, look at that. All right. Are any kickers on this list?
Flacco. Flacco's got to be on there, doesn't he?
I hate you. I hate you for saying that name.
Is that a
Most
final
over.
answer?
Is this the most overrated player list?
Final answer, Mike?
Yes,
I don't know,
support that.
Jason.
I support
Yes,
that.
Joe Flacco is number 7. However,
Negative
Joe Flacco
3.
played for the team for 10 years and has 113 on the approximate value. Lamar Jackson has only played 6 seasons, and he has more than Joe Flacco in 10.
Dude, I have friends that will never give Lamar his credit and are in love with Joe Flacco. I'm just saying. I mean, Lamar will be number 1 on that list once he wins a Super Bowl.
What value do you think kickers have here, Jason? Is that any
That's what I was
thought?
thinking. John, I don't know. I feel like I need some cheating.
So
help.
we have I'll give you a hint. So you have the top 4. You
Well,
have
hold
number
on.
6.
Are there any other kickers on the list?
No, there's no kickers on the list. Kickers are
Okay,
not
we're
valuable.
not going with kickers.
No, I'll
Kickers
just
are
give
not
you that.
people, Mike.
Yes. So you're missing 1 offensive player and 3 defensive players.
Okay, so Jamal
How about-
wasn't on there.
What about McAllister, Jason? Do you think he played long enough to make a difference?
Let's keep that one. We're gonna tuck him in our
Okay,
pocket.
pocket
Remember
him.
we did that last year. I mean, what about? I mean, is Roquan there yet?
He's only been there for a couple years. I don't know. See, I don't know how valuable that is, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's good.
All
The
right, let's hold
minimum
off.
Lamar is the shortest tenured Raven on this list.
Oh, okay, well that changes a bunch. Okay, so
Oh yeah, I was thinking CJ
Roquan.
Mosley maybe, but I don't know. But that's not long enough.
What about Marlon?
Oh, how about Brandon Williams or like one of the or Haloti Nada? You think those guys might be on there?
Haloti Nada might be on there. Let's go with Haloti.
Yes, Haloti is number 8.
What about Marlon,
you-
Mike?
you
Who
have
would
one
miss
off-
him? What positions?
You're missing one offensive unskilled player, and you're missing a defensive back and a linebacker.
Mike, who was the guard? Marshall Yanda?
Yonda.
Yanda?
Yes,
on
Yanda is
there.
number 5, right
Okay.
behind Ogden
So we're
at
missing
116.
we're missing a what now? A linebacker and a defensive back?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
sort of a linebacker. I mean,
What the
usually
shit?
linebackers.
It can't be
So-
Hamilton already. So,
He's sort of a linebacker. Does that mean he's like a outside linebacker there, Jacer?
I guess that would be the theory.
Like a Jared Johnson, a Dallas Thomas. I don't think those guys are
Graduated from Florida State.
Peter Boulware?
Peter Boulware.
Peter
Yes,
Boulware.
Peter Boulware is number 10 on this list.
Okay. So then the other one's a defensive back, and then we're done.
Yes. Yes, and then you're done.
Marlon?
You don't think it's McAllister or Marlon? You think McAllister doesn't have as much of an impact as
You have
Marlon?
2 strikes. You have 2 strikes. So
Wait, what do you mean we have 2 strikes? Who we get wrong?
No, you have
Who
2
we
strikes
get-
left. You have one.
Oh.
You have
yeah,
one
yeah.
strike. You have 2 strikes.
You said that totally wrong.
Sorry. You have 2 strikes left.
Jason, you go ahead and pick.
Marlon Humphreys.
No, Marlon Humphrey is not on this list.
Ryan, son of a biscuit.
He's number 14.
I think McAllister is more valuable than Marlon.
All right. Well, hold on. He's still in our pocket.
We only got one left, though. What's that?
He's still in our pocket. So it's not.
You got
the
Lardarius Webb? I like. There's not. I don't know.
Those would be my 2 Wait, defensive back or cornerback?
They're basically the same thing. It's a corner.
They're not.
Safety. It
Not
could
a
be a
safety.
safety.
It's not a safety. It's
Okay.
a cornerback.
All right. Well, that brings it. Okay. Humphreys or no. So
No, you already said
Hum-
Humphrey, and Humphrey is wrong.
Oh,
McAllister played for so many years for the Ravens, just so many years.
He played for this person played for 9 seasons and was drafted out of the University of Arizona.
yeah, it's McAllister.
That's McAllister. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is McAllister.
Sorry, Mike.
then
You
just
made me
out-
doubt myself, Jason.
So
You made me doubt
actually-
myself.
So let me
That's because I'm a
fix
genius.
something. So then actually there's a tie for 10th between 3 people.
Oh boy.
Peter
Oh, yeah,
Boulware,
we need to name one.
right? You just need to name one of them. Kelly Gregg and Ray Rice are all at 69. Then
Wow.
Ronnie Stanley at 67, Humphrey at 66, Mosley, Williams, Justin Tucker's at 61. Then Jamal Lewis, Adelius Thomas, Mark Andrews. I didn't realize Rob Burnett was there for so long, but Rob Burnett is number 21 on this list. And
There's a
then
big
Rod
reason why
Woodson only played 3 seasons, and he's number 28. Roquan Smith is number 29.
Oh, Rob Woodson was so good, though. I don't care.
Oh,
Some good
he
football
was.
players on that list, boys.
There's, and I was looking at the Orioles list, and I'm like trying to figure out, okay, how do I do the Orioles list? Because like I was gonna go do like doubles, who let the Orioles know, but then there's like 5 guys on there from the Cleveland Browns or the the St. Louis
Louis,
Browns. Yeah, like George Sizzler, or there's a guy named Babyface on there. I'm like, you guys would not know who Babyface is.
Isn't he a
Oh,
singer?
man.
Lil Baby, I think, is a singer.
Wasn't he a rapper? No, there was a baby face. I'm sure there was.
Yeah, there was,
Oh,
there
I'm
was
sure.
sure. Babyface. I
I'm
think.
sure there was.
All right.
Guys, that was good. I like that.
Oh,
That
that
was,
was
fun.
fabulous.
yeah.
We've only
You
not
did well,
gotten-
John. I like that with the ballpark figures. Good work, my buddy.
Buddy, well done. All right. So the next segment we wanted to go over was something new. We wanted to do just anything in Baltimore sports, whether it's the Ravens, the Orioles, we're also including the Terps, anything else I might be missing as well. But we wanted to do our top 3, and I put in here for you guys top 3 signings, like franchise changing signings that made all the difference for them. I would accept trades too. Like if you guys wanted to do trades, just players that they brought in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a free agent signing. So we could each do one and then go to the next person, do one and blah, 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 if you guys want to do that. Unless instead of everyone doing all 3. So we're pretty clear how this is going to work?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Mike. I don't like the.
I'm sure I'm good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, you go first then, smarty pants.
Anquan Bolden.
Why? Tell me why.
He was the missing piece to our receiving room and helped us to win a Super Bowl.
Because he was good at football, sir. And yeah, that's it. Well done,
Contested catches.
Well done. John?
I'm going to go with Frank Robinson.
You son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
Why, John?
Well, because he helped. He was a Hall of Fame outfielder with the Reds before he came to the Orioles, and he was just a huge integral piece in those days, well before our time. And the reasons we won World Series.
Good. Well, mine is Elvis. No, it's not. Okay. Mine
Elvis Gerbach.
Go cry in the corner.
Mine is Shannon Sharp.
Ooh, I love
because
that
the Ravens are not the Baltimore Ravens of 2000 without Shannon Sharp. Talk about out of left field, awesome move. I really wish he would have stayed here for a lot longer than just the 2 years he was here. Such an important piece to not only the offense but the whole team.
I think either he or Goose would have killed each other. So I think the 2 years was just enough. I think he and Goose one of them would have been dead by the time they were done.
Mike, do you want to go again? John's talking about goosing people.
Can I do more than one from the same team, or does that have to be something else?
No, you can do everyone.
Okay. I will then go Orioles, and I will say Adam Jones trade. So he was the impetus behind that little run we had between 2012 and 2016. And the centerpiece of that was Adam Jones.
Yeah, no kidding. John?
I'm going to go with Rod Woodson. I think that, his leadership and his football knowledge, it was a great compliment to Ray Lewis. And it helped because you got to remember, we had Starks and we had McAllister, who were all both young defensive backs, and Kim Herring. And I think that Woodson was just kind of the glue that brought that whole defensive backfield in with, the leadership and things of Ray Lewis.
Oh, for sure. And they switched him from cornerback to safety, made all the difference to come in. I mean, because he was already a freaking Pro Bowler. Pittsburgh didn't want to pay him, and it worked out perfect for us. Mine is Juan Dixon signing at the University of Maryland. Talk about unassuming, completely changing everything about the whole program. I mean, you could very easily say it's not a player, but like Gary Williams coaching in Maryland, like both of those go hand in hand. Dixon and Gary Williams, as far as I'm concerned, they don't win a national championship without Juan Dixon. They don't win a national championship without Gary Williams. Who wants to go for this last round? Mike, John.
Ooh,
I'll go.
Only one
I'm
more.
I have two. I'm gonna go with RG3. I think RG3 was a huge signing, not because he played. He played a handful of games, but because he helped train Lamar on how not to end up like him. How to, Lamar, get out of bounds. Lamar, get down. Lamar, don't take these hits, blah, blah, blah. Because that, he got hit, and that's what ended up basically just ruining his career. So I really think that the maturity and the development of Lamar was, we could attribute that to that one person, to that RG3 signing.
Mike?
I don't know what you guys think, if you guys think that's good or not.
No, I mean, it is, because sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it just takes that one little move that no one else really pays attention to, and Now look what happened.
I think it's outside the box, but I like the idea behind it. I would say I have one of each team, but I haven't mentioned any Terps yet, and I think the Steve Francis signing was huge for Maryland. Like back in the day, Jason, I know you talk about Juan Dixon, but I feel like he really started that next chapter of Maryland basketball. He had that 40-inch vertical. He only played for that season, but people wanted to come play in Maryland after Steve Francis was there, and it kind of changed. I feel like the culture around Maryland basketball. It had been building for a while, but they had never really had anything like a superstar like Steve Francis was, and he was definitely that superstar for Maryland basketball.
I like it. You say you have one more?
Well, if I had a Raven, I don't want to steal your thunder, but if I had to go Ravens, Sam Adams in that Super Bowl year is another one for me. One but two guys to keep people off of Ray Lewis so he can run around and make a ton of tackles, and Bulware and Sharper and all those guys. So big old Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa together, that tag team, man, that was ridiculous. Ask what's his face from the Raiders, the quarterback from the Raiders who got
Rich
crushed.
Gannon. Rich Gannon.
Ask Rich Gannon about that.
Okay. Well, I also have two. I have one that might not be too popular, I guess, but it was the trade with the Rangers that brought Chris Davis to Baltimore. And for that period of time he was here, he was part of the rebuild Buck years, the 2012 playoffs, the huge part. Obviously signed a big deal here that didn't work out. I mean, that happens sometimes. I will forever be grateful. It was a great time having these guys here. That one, and then the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl 59 because of Derrick Henry, second year here.
Oh, I love that. Do that.
Please do that.
The other guy that I said was Randy Myers. Was when the Orioles were playing the Yankees in the mid '90s. Him and Armando Benitez, who was kind of he's kind of off his rocker, but Randy Myers brought some stability to that bullpen, and we never won a World Series, but he really, anchored the back of that bullpen in the mid '90s when we had a lot of success.
I mean, there are a couple other Orioles you could mention probably too. Robbie Alomar was a big one. I thought,
Eddie Murray,
Nelson Cruz for that one season he had here was a huge signing. So, bunch of Orioles guys we could probably Rafael Palmeiro maybe you could even put on there.
You put Palmeiro on there a couple times actually. You put him on there twice. That was a huge one. And even Bobby Bonilla trade like that changed things. Like they did it in the trade deadline in '95, and then he helped them make the playoffs in '96. It's those moves again are. See that like you don't see stuff like that. You don't see a guy like a Bobby Bonilla's talent moving like that, or Mark McGwire moving from Oakland to St. Louis in the middle of the year. Like things like that don't happen anymore because the player costs $15 billion when he gets there. Like it's
Hey, with Maryland, how about Joe Smith or Gravis Vasquez? Those are a couple guys too that you might want to throw out there.
Yeah, I mean the Gravis Vasquez thing. I mean he was the second of the two. It was Eric Hayes. The one that everyone thought was going to be better of the two, and he ended up having a pretty good career here. But Gravis was unbelievable. Again, probably my second favorite, tied with Joe Smith. But I was younger when Joe Smith was here. But yeah, that was a huge one too. And again, these guys were not highly recruited by other places, all Maryland's top players. If you look at the players that were highly recruited, they haven't really panned out in comparison to some of these other guys. Now, I can't speak on like Len Elmore's recruiting that was going on back when he was here and John Lucas's recruiting when he was here and all these other guys, or even oh man, why can't I think of this?
Len Bias.
Like, I don't know. All of these guys, the top players in Maryland history were Maryland made. They were made as good as they were while they were here and based on their hard work. That's what I remember about Gravis. That's what I remember about
Mike
Dixon.
Jones, Nick Kaner, Medley, all those guys. Yeah. No, I'm
right. Well, those guys were higher recruits. It didn't turn out very well.
Diamond Stone.
That was another one. Stupid. Don't mention that name again. I remember
Jake
exactly
Layman,
where
baby.
I was.
So my list of names not to mention: Joe Flacco, Elvis Gerbach, Diamond Stone.
Yes, Joe Flacco.
All those guys.
I will never forget. Mike and I are sitting in the upper deck in our seats that we have, season tickets. The Ravens are playing the Colts the year they win the Super Bowl. We're sitting there. We have friends that are walking around doing other things. So I just heavily start drinking. And I'm like, oh, there's pick number 1. Oh, yep, I think there's number 2. Oh, there's Peyton Manning going. Oh, I said the Colts. I'm sorry. The Broncos. Light us up. And I turned to Mike and I turned to this girl that was in our section all the time. And I said, this man cannot play at this level anymore. Like, I mean, he's the most overrated guy. And from then on, and then of course he goes on that run, like the horseshoe up the hiney run. But no, I am not a Joe Flacco fan. I appreciate him winning the Super Bowl. He is not an elite quarterback. So whoever said all that nonsense, he is a very productive NFL quarterback. That's the compliment you're going to get from me. Okay.
He's at least as good as Phillip Rivers. No, I'm just kidding.
Numbers
No,
wise,
Not
the
so
list-
much numbers wise.
Well, the list Philip Rivers was very high on. Was very high on that list.
Philip Rivers was a under the radar type guy. I mean, he was very. I mean, look at the Chargers. They chose him over Drew Brees. So how'd that work out for them?
Right.
Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. All right. So that was awesome. I like that segment. Good stuff, guys. Mike, are you ready for the world's greatest sports trivia contest of all time?
I live for this game.
I
I
you
live
do.
for it.
Yeah, well, you are the host because you got curb stomped last week. Go ahead, John.
I mean, teeth are still intact. All right, so we're gonna play Dad Bod Jeopardy, and I will be your host tonight. And we have contestant number 1 with the stripy Oriole hat, John Lanscreener, and contestant number 2 wearing his sophisticated glasses, Jason Weisbecker.
Spectacles.
They will
just got these
take a
today.
spectacle. Yeah, they're nice. Do I have to compliment you all the time again? Or
No,
is that
no, that maybe on Sunday after you guys are wrong. And I'm right.
all right?
Yeah, maybe.
So we have 3 categories. We're kind of like regular Jeopardy, except we kind of minimize and kind of do a in miniature version of 100, 500, and 1,000 in 3 different categories, and then we'll have Final Jeopardy at the end. If you need to answer, raise your hand, say your name, and then we will give you an opportunity to respond. Everybody with us?
Correct.
Tonight's
Absolutely.
categories are punny names,
Ha.
bird's nest, and ravens by the numbers.
All right, hold on. Ravens.
Punny names, bird's nest, and ravens by the numbers.
All right, I like it. All right.
Jason, you were the winner. You have the board.
All right, let's do punny names for a hundo.
All right. This Maryland basketball stud big man should have lasted forever as a Terp, according to his name, but was drafted 40th overall by the Pelicans in the 2016. Yes, John.
Diamond Stone.
That is correct.
I just mentioned it.
I know. I was like, man, he's stealing my thunder here. That's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, 100 points to you, John. And you have control.
Let's do punny names for 500, please.
All right. This speedy MLB outfielder, whose name sounds like a kid's cereal, made his name with the Cleveland Indians.
John.
John.
Cocoa Crisp.
That is correct. Made his name with the Cleveland Indians before winning a World Series with the Red Sox in 2007.
Now, when I listen to this back, if I hear mine over him, I'm gonna
Well, sometimes it's just different locations. You know, it is what it is. All right. John, go ahead.
Same category for 1,000, please.
You might laugh at this Green Bay defensive back's presidentially hyphenated name.
John.
John.
Haha Clinton Dix.
That is correct.
Oh,
John, you swept that category.
Wow. I'm done, Jason. All right. Let's go bird's nest for 1,000, please.
All right. And these are related to the Orioles. All right.
Nice job,
This
Mike.
Baltimore, this Baltimore street is where you'll find Boog's Legendary Barbecue
John.
and
Jason.
Marker John.
What?
Utah Street.
That was
What is
definitely
it?
not John.
Utah Street.
Utah Street. That is correct. 100 points to you, John.
That was
That's
1,000.
1,000. And by the way, that was incorrect. Mine was first.
Was it?
I can only call what I see on the internet. When I see John and hear John first, I got to say John.
We
You
have to
weren't
go on.
first.
We have to go on the voices. We can't just go
Yes,
on the hands.
I was first.
You did not. Listen to it back.
Get faster, internet.
All right. I have a feeling some of the G's are making a difference in this conversation
was
because
that
I'm just
1,000?
calling
Was
them
that
as I
1,000
see
or-
them.
Oh, that's not
Mike,
right.
was that 1,000 or 100?
that was
I
100.
asked for 1,000.
Well, I gave you
Oh, I asked
100, so you only get that.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. John, try again.
All right, let's do bird's nest for 500, please.
An entertaining tune by what artist is played during the 7th inning stretch
Jason.
at Orioles game? Jason.
John Denver.
That is correct. And the song?
That you didn't ask for that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Country boy. Thank God I'm a country boy.
Thank God I'm a country boy. No debating that. Those are your points, Jason. 500 points.
All right. So we're at 1,000.
If you want it, 1,000
let's
for
do-
the bird's nest.
Let's do that one.
This Orioles beverage vendor was a sprinter in his college days and, with his classic flipped up brim cap, has spent 50 plus years serving beer to patrons at Oriole games.
Oh shit! What's his name? Oh,
Oh, I can't think of. I see it. I don't know what his name is. I don't remember. Mike, you can do
wait.
countdown.
What part of the name do I need, Mike?
Just any.
Jason
Go ahead.
Clancy.
That is correct. It is Fancy Clancy, but that is correct. All right. Well done, Jason. 1,000 points for that one.
All right.
Clancy is also a great Aldi's brand, in case
Yes.
you're wondering about snack foods. So, just in case our Dad Bod listeners out there need to find some snack foods, visit the Aldi's. Throw some Clancy's in your gullet.
Now, before we go into this last category, it is 1,700 to 1,500, and I am playing this game under protest.
Go
I'll
talk
take
to
that
Spectrum about your internet speed.
All right, for
I'll take it
100.
with that producer, Jason.
Yes, please do. Okay, this is Ravens by the numbers for 100, please.
Okay. I'm going to give you a list of Ravens that all had the same number, and you're going to tell me what number it is. All right, here we go. Asa Jackson, Terrence West, J.K. Dobbins, Ray Rice.
Jason,
Jason,
27.
that is correct. Number 27. They all wore uniform number 27. 100 points for you.
500, please.
Trent Smith, Ty Montgomery, Dez Bryant, Dennis Pitta.
Jason,
Jason,
88.
that is correct. 500 points to you, Jason. John, you still there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I
just
can
checking.
do
Your
that
internet?
fast.
How many G's you got, John?
I don't know. I'm on 5Gs, 6Gs,
5 hertz?
7Gs.
Maybe that's
Yeah. It's
It
5.
hurts
it's
so
2
good
hertz,
right now.
2.5 hertz or 5 hertz are the ways that your internet is sped up through your
Are you guys
Wi-Fi.
in the same room? Are you guys? Is this why this is working? Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about the internet, so this is John speaking.
Do you know who
Okay.
invented it? Wasn't that Al Gore?
Al Gore, according to Al Gore. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Al Gore also invented global warming and all the other stuff too.
Yes, that's not real, apparently. Al-
Well, down here in Florida, they just signed a law that says you can't tamper with the weather.
Oh, my-
All right. Jason, would you like the last question?
Please.
All right, so this is Ravens by the numbers for 1,000. Kamar Aiken, Devard Darling, James Prochet, Jeff Blake.
We read that list again, please.
Kamar Aiken, Devard Darling, James Prochet, Jeff Blake.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doot.
Mike, was it 17?
Nope.
Thank God.
John, you have a guess?
Is it 11?
It is 11. That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh man, I knew that, and I should have said.
All right. So,
Jason's
Jason, where do
gonna
we
win again.
stand heading into Final Jeopardy?
All right. John has 1,700 points, and Jason has 2,100 points because he is better looking.
All right. This is a good one. Make sure you write your wagers down, boys.
All right. Hold on. We need to know the subject first.
Who writes these questions must have found the sweet spot today. Man, that's really good.
Well, 2 weeks ago, you were like,
I know.
I needed like a degree in something to be able to.
I know. I had to figure out the sweet spot. All right. Today's Final Jeopardy category is Super Bowl 35.
Hold on,
Okay.
Mike. I'm doing math.
All right.
Sorry.
Let me know when you are done mathing, boys. The internet loves watching you math.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Shut up.
Do, 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 do.
Stop.
Nick Clifford just got drafted. Nick, Nique.
Isn't that how everybody spells Nick? Just in the nick of time.
I guess.
Sure it's not Neek?
Nick? I don't know. Possibly.
All
But I
right.
would pronounce it Nick.
It's definitely a unique name.
I'm ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Today's Final Jeopardy question. In the third quarter of the game, Ravens cornerback Dwayne Starks intercepted a pass intended for wide receiver Amani Toomer and returned it 49 yards for a touchdown, setting off a chain of events never seen before in Super Bowl history. 3 touchdowns on 3 consecutive plays in 36 seconds. What 2 players scored the ensuing 2 touchdowns? Boom, boom. All right. Your time is up for Final Jeopardy. We go to John first because you were trailing. John, let's see what you got written down there for your 2 players.
I didn't get it right. I got
Jermaine Lewis and
Tiki
some
Barber.
type. Tiki Barber did not score that touchdown, but Jermaine is correct. All right, so you lose whatever you wagered there.
Everything.
Jason?
I have 0.
I don't believe I got it right either.
Okay, let's see what you got there. Jermaine Lewis and Toomer. It is not the Tuma. Not the Tuma. All right, so
I Killiard.
do you guys remember what happened was there were 2 consecutive kickoff returns for a touchdown. First by the Giants kickoff returner, and then Jermaine Lewis returned it right back for the Ravens, and that returner was Ron Dixon.
See, I can't.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Ron Dixon, and then Jermaine returned it for a touchdown for the Ravens. So, Jason, what did you risk? I assume you risked correctly enough to win.
He still won. I risked everything.
Yeah, I risked 1,400.
Okay.
So I'm still good.
Congratulations, Jason. You are the defending champion for next time. And John, get your pen ready and your researching fingers ready for the next round of Dad Bod's Jeopardy.
Yep, I will do that.
I would just like to point out the only time I've actually lost, John, is when I wasn't here. Because my
proxy. You did it by proxy.
My proxy is a big poopy face. All right.
Well, Jim, if you're listening, Jason just called you a head.
A poopy face. That's what I call him, poopy face.
Oh, poopy face. Okay.
I love Jimmy. All right. So, anything else we need to discuss before our final segment here, boys? Anything of excitement?
I
Nope.
have nothing else to discuss besides our final segment.
Perfect. All right. Well, this segment was just in case I know, Mike, you know where it came from. John, you might be wondering why we're doing this. One of our listeners did reach out and said, "This is what I would like to have you guys do. We would like we would like for you to look at all the number one picks in the history of football and break them down by 9-year periods, and then each one of you in a draft order draft your 3 best players from that were drafted number 1 overall from that 9-year period." So tonight we're doing 2000 to 2009. So any of the players that were taken number 1 overall, we can pick. So John, for instance, you will go first. And well, because that's what we said. So you go first, Mike, you go second, I'll go third, and then we'll snake draft it around and go from there. So John,
Jason, real quick, I assume we're not putting together a team because that's not possible. We're just trying to pick the best available player.
Right, because I mean, there's like 5 or 6 quarterbacks in here, so that'd be an interesting team.
Sure.
But yeah,
that would be, they could really throw the ball well.
There's seven quarterbacks.
Right. So you're taking the best player. So I would assume here that John would go with the very best player in here. Now, some of that will be like speculation, whether you think that person's the best player or not.
Yeah, and I know who I'm going to get stuck with last.
I know, it's so exciting. I'm so happy.
That's why you had me go first. You son of a.
So you said 2000 to 2009. Isn't that is that 10 years though, or is that 9 years?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it is 10, Mike.
Okay, so there will be one person not drafted.
No,
so
we're not going to do it. We're not doing it that way. We're going to do 2000 to 2008.
Yes.
Oh, well, that messes with my order, my draft rankings, Jason.
One player, Mike. One player.
So can I just
the best player?
Can I just do my first and my last first because I already know who I'm going to get last?
No.
You just took my first player off the board.
All right. All right. So let's go. I'm going to go first. I am going to take Michael Vick, quarterback, Virginia Tech.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that next to Lamar Jackson, he's probably the greatest athlete to play quarterback of all time.
Okay. Just so you know, he's been to 4 Pro Bowls.
Right, but he also spent like 4 years in prison too. So,
well, whose fault's that?
The dogs.
The dogs.
The dogs.
If they would have been friendly, everything had been okay.
Right. Whoever snitched on that man. All right, Mike, your turn.
I want to take from the 2003 NFL draft Carson Palmer, quarterback from the University of Southern California.
Heisman Trophy winner and 3 Pro Bowls. Good choice, Mike. Good. All right. See, this is like low-hanging fruit here, but I don't like him. So really, 1, 2, 3. Yeesh. I'm stuck between. I'm going with. I don't know who I'm going with. I'm going to go with Eli Manning. I'll go with Eli Manning. 2-time Super Bowl winner, 4-time Pro Bowler. Sure. Why not? MVP in Super Bowl twice.
Yada, yada. All those things. Beat Tom Brady twice.
Right. All right. So that means it's my turn again. I'm going to go this time. Ooh. I'm going to go with Mario Williams. 4-time Pro Bowler. All right. Mike,
defensive end from North Carolina State.
Correct.
Houston Texans. Good football player.
We'll do it.
All right. So I'm back to me. Give me the first overall pick in the 2008 NFL draft, which is Jake Long, offensive tackle from Michigan. I need a protector. I'm taking Jake Long.
John?
Yeah, that was going to be my next one.
You can't have him. I have him already.
Yeah.
Long story short, I have long.
I mean, I'm gonna go with if I'm going with I'm gonna go with Courtney Brown out of Penn State 2000 because he had when he was drafted he had a ton of potential as a defensive end and just didn't really ever live up to it. I don't know if that was because he was in Cleveland or what, but
Overrated.
I think you're
Yeah.
getting booed, John. I hear it somewhere. I'm not sure.
Overrated.
Yep. So I'll take Courtney Brown.
Okay. Next.
Who's your last pick, John?
No, it's your turn.
No, it's a snake draft,
Snake
John.
draft, John.
Oh, that's right. I Courtney Brown, and I'll take David Carr
Oh, why?
because he had a lot of potential. He just got stuck on a team with no offensive line, and he could have all the potential in the world. I mean, none of the rest of these guys did anything in their careers.
Disagree.
Everybody-
Disagree
Seriously?
highly, actually.
Maybe
I'm
Alex
happy.
You passed on one very good football player.
Yeah,
Who's
I'll take
that?
that guy, by the way.
Yeah, you
Alex
will.
Smith.
Alex Smith. Oh,
Give me Alex Smith.
3-time Pro Bowler. Andy Reid favorite.
What was his career record, Jason? Do you have that in front of him?
I don't.
He
but
was
it's a lot.
pretty good at football. He had some pretty good teams.
Once Jim Harbaugh got his hands on him, it completely changed his entire career path. And then he went to Kansas City, played there.
173 and 1.
What?
173 and 1.
That was his college record?
That's his career. No, that can't be right.
No.
No,
No, 100.
I see it too.
Yeah, it's 173 and 1. He was.
Yeah, it says the site I says 99, 67 and 1. So maybe yours is playoffs and mine just doesn't have playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's. He was 39 and 40 and 1 with the 49ers. He was 50 and 26 with the Chiefs and 11 and 5 with the Redskins.
He just had that career-ending injury situation too.
Yeah.
His AV was 120, John. Where does that put him? I don't know, related to what you were saying.
AV was 120. I don't know. I think I accidentally closed that tab.
Just curious. Anyway, I liked Alex Smith as a football player. I thought he was better than a game manager, but he had those kind of capabilities and had some really good teams, good decision maker of the football.
Mike, do you remember who his head coach was at Utah?
Was it Urban Meyer?
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
So let's see. So we're looking for where's he?
Oh,
what
now
did
my
you say
guy-
his AV was, Mike?
120.
Isn't that
He's
thing
way
you get
down.
in your arm when you're dehydrated?
That's IV.
Yeah.
He's so get
saline
this.
solution.
So get this. Alex Smith is 120. He's tied for 228th on this list with Troy Aikman, Lance Allworth, Mark Brunell, Pat Fisher, Leroy Jordan, Ray Nitschke, John Riggins, Johnny Robinson, Bill Romanowski, and Dick Schraffeth.
Those are some good football players, by the way.
All the way on 28. Bill Romanowski, Mark Brunell, Troy Aikman. Yeah. Ray Nitschke. Yeah.
Ray Nitschke was a really good football player.
Yeah. He was all the way at the bottom of the list, though.
Yeah,
228.
I mean, it's like some of these lists, man, and the way that people come up with things, I'm not so convinced.
Well,
I
remember, sacks weren't a stat for a while. So a lot of these guys could have been higher on the list if sacks had been a statistic.
My last pick may be the worst football player in the history of the NFL, I think. There's actually a good chance. I will have to take Jamarcus Russell. You guys remember that story that apparently like they taped $100 bill on the back, or no, was it $100 bill or what they did on the back of the playbook or something? And he never read the
Yes,
got the money.
Oh, absolutely, I remember that. And he showed up. He showed up like 50 pounds overweight or something, and didn't know anything.
It's just
Isn't that the?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Isn't that what they did in the movie Draft Day? Had something like that.
Yeah,
It was
it was
Kevin
something like
Costner.
that.
Yeah.
God, I'll tell you. That was to check to see if they were honest and if they would like return it or whatever. It's like he just never.
Yeah.
He's a special
He
boy.
never did anything. I don't know.
Oh my goodness!
I wonder what he's doing these days. Is he in prison or something?
I thought
Yeah.
I thought he was a coach. Actually, I could be wrong.
I love my team, by the way. I love my team.
I mean, I don't
Just
have
like-
much of a choice. I took one. I fell on the sword for you boys so that I would go last for you.
Yeah. Well, I had Jake Long, Alex Smith, and Carson Palmer. I like those three.
No, that's pretty good. I don't even remember who I had. Oh, Mario Williams. I get to your quarterback, especially if it's Jamarcus Russell for sure. And then Eli. I'm not an Eli fan as far as the argument that he should be in the Hall of Fame just because he won 2 Super Bowls. But he did put up some pretty good statistical numbers as well. But yeah, Jake Long, Mike, I didn't realize 4 Pro Bowls. He was kind of a stalwart out there for them. So that was good.
It was good.
Yeah, well done. All right. Well, I guess next week we'll do we'll go another 9 years up, and then we'll see where we go. Then we can always go backwards too. It'd be fun. See what we
I
can
might
come
get
up.
dizzy if we go backwards, so just make sure you keep it under control.
I thought you could go backwards and forwards. You just can't go like around in a circle.
You're already making me dizzy.
See, that's right. Yeah. So no blast from the past tonight. We did this instead. I'm trying to think of anything else we might have missed, everyone. The NBA draft, John, do you have any updates? Anything of importance?
I turned it off because it was
Percolated,
boring.
Okay.
A bunch of European guys and a Chinese guy went.
Oh my God, John. Well,
Yeah. And then
good for you.
they finally drafted what's his face out of Florida.
NBA TV
John.
might be hiring John to do their next analysis of the draft.
Now drafted number 21 overall. What's his face? Oh my goodness.
Win
I'm
one
just trying
soon.
Yeah, so the Wizards, I don't know, did we talk about this? I don't think we talked about it separately, but the
No.
Wizards took Trey Johnson out of Texas, 6'6" guard, came out after his freshman year. If I do watch the NBA, I do kind of pay attention to the Wizards with one eye. I don't know why.
And they got Walter Clayton Jr. at 18.
Who?
Oh, they traded him to Utah.
What do they get back for him?
Walter Clayton Jr. out of Florida. Let's see. It doesn't. Okay. They traded up 3 spots to get Clayton, sending the 43rd and 2 other second rounders.
They had Clayton and they traded him?
Yeah, they got
Ugh.
Will Riley out of Illinois.
What?
I love Walter Clayton. Why would they trade him? I don't understand this. The
Yeah,
NBA draft isn't. I don't get it.
I'm not a
NBA
fan.
Like if you go in here, the first 9 picks were all picked by the team that was holding the spot. But then 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, 22, 24, and all these other are all like traded from. Or they traded the rights of the player to. That's weird. I don't know how it all works.
I mean, the fact that you have a small roster on an NBA team, like it has to be the right fit at that number. I don't know. That probably makes some difference. Like if you already are
and you have
stacked
14,
with
what,
forwards.
14 players. Yeah, what, 14 players, I think.
Yeah, but if
That
you're
plays-
already stacked with centers and forwards, like, and that guy is the guy that clearly is the guy who should be taken next, like
Yeah.
you're gonna draft him and then trade him, probably, right? I don't know how that works.
I'd assume.
Yeah.
But that's why you see a lot of ex-NBA guys overseas because those rosters are so small and, you know, you get a center who's way better than you and you end up in China or Turkey or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely lost its luster for me. I mean, after the first pick, like that was the end of that. You know, it's like everybody will be real excited to see how Cooper Flag plays this year. Other than that, I mean, I don't really know.
Where did Derek Queen go, guys? Just curious.
He went to the
So
he went to
went to the Hawks
the Hawks at 13 and was traded to New Orleans.
So he's a Pelican.
He is a Pelican.
All right, then.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff today, fellas. I think that wraps things up for us here. Mike, if you want to bring us home, and we will reconvene on Sunday to see what your guys' punishments are once I win the bet.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight on Dad Bod's Crab Cakes and Sports. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're at it, leave us a review. We're trying to spread that good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes actions, memes, bad sports takes. You can find us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on Instagram and at dadbods crabcakes and sports on our Facebook page. You have a question or topic you'd like us to cover? Hit us up at dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail.com. You never know, we might use your idea or shout you out on our next episode. Until next time, keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss a game.
Sayonara.
Hasta la vista.